Our biggest problem can be boiled down to four major things. First, we deal with white flight. Now, of course, certain stores left when the white people left. Second biggest problem is we had the crack epidemic of the 1980s. That brought a lot of poverty, broke up a lot of families, caused a lot of social problems. The third biggest problem we had was benign neglect by the city of Atlanta, Fulton County, and the state, to where we did not get the infrastructure and the investment that we was looking for in terms of fixing 285, fixing Langford Parkway. Once upon a time, many old timers may remember this. Langford Parkway, aka Lakewood Freeway, aka Highway 166, that was supposed to be Interstate 420.
Right.
Interstate
exactly.
420 was going to be the bypass. It was going to be basically a downtown Atlanta bypass. So it was going to take you from Gresham Park over there by Gresham Drive, Gresham Road, south of Cap Ball. Greenbrier was going to be the centerpiece.
It was supposed to go all the way through Decatur to Greenbrier, right.
And it's going to end at Douglasville. They killed the Douglasville part because at the time Douglasville didn't have nobody.
Right.
So they was going to end it over here to kind of help alleviate some of the traffic downtown. So when that didn't happen, that was another blow that we had. To where, okay, we were expecting more traffic along the interstate to help us.
Right.
But I will also be remiss too that we had another shopping mall, Crossroads on Metropolitan Parkway, that we pulled from to build Greenbrier.
Right.
That mall fell apart.
That fell apart as well.
And that mall was built at the same time Ansley Mall was built.
Right.
Ansley Mall is still thriving. Crossroads is just sitting there.
But another thing that has hurt the community as well is like what we were saying earlier, blight. I mean, when as kids grew up in the community, moved to the suburbs, and their parents grew old and died and left in the house, they didn't want the house, and so the house set, boarded up, and with that, then that house becomes a crack house, becomes a house for other means.
It became a trap house.
Trap houses, exactly.
Unofficial homeless shelter. It became a house. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of major crimes during that time that happened, and a lot of abandoned property, a lot of wooded areas. And we're still today trying to figure out what happened in 1995. We had a young girl from Ralph Munch Middle School that was raped, assaulted, and killed in the woods behind the McDonald's at the old Deerfield Apartments, which is now, I think, Cascade Pines. Has changed a lot of names.
Right.
And it was a cut through where the young lady and the kids were walking from the apartments to Harbor to catch the school bus.
But see, if you have a community that has a lot of boarded and boarded up, blighted houses, that brings crime, creates crime, because it gives criminals opportunity and a place to stay, and a place to hide themselves. So that's one thing that was being done. One thing that happened, I noticed real big with Union City, with me being a commercial and residential real estate investor, when the bubble burst in 07, 08, 09 in Union City, a lot of those homeowners down there got caught with bad loans, with the balloon mortgages, and that's why Union City has so many empty houses and so many hurting communities down there, that you could have gone down and bought a house back in 08, 09 in Union City for about $15,000 to $17,000. So with a lot of people that had to come up out of Union City because they lost their house, that left a lot of empty houses in Union City. And when you don't have houses, people living in houses, you don't have the money and the income because you don't have the tax dollars.
We also had gentrification. As more people got pushed out of Atlanta, many people were going to Clayton County, Union City, and further south, because that was the cheaper housing, which is one reason why we got bought expansion down there. It should be noted that Shannon Mall, aka Shannon South Park, aka Union Station Mall, it was a true case of if you build it, they will come.
Right.
It was built, they came, but they left because everybody said, oh, the development's got to come south.
Right.
And it should be noted, that mall predated North Point Mall in Alpharetta. That mall was built in 1980, North Point Mall was built in 1993.
But North Point Mall is in Alpharetta, where the economic base is there.
Yeah.
I mean, you take the average economic income, per capita income in Alpharetta, you take it in Union City, there's no comparison.
Yeah, because you got to remember too, it's like at once upon a time, everybody was down here.
Right, but then you got to realize too, with Alpharetta, the majority of the people are there homeowners.
Yeah.
Whereas Union City, you have a lot of renters. See, when you have a lot of renters, you don't have a lot of people that are stable. When homeowners, you have somebody that has a mortgage, okay, because if you put down, say, 10 to 20% on a house, you bought into that house. So you're not going to leave because you won't want to keep your money. But if you're a renter, where all you've done is put your security deposit down, you can look for the next rental property that's $50 cheaper, and you up and move at the end of your lease. And the reason why they flock to Atlanta so much is because if you take the housing market in New York, Washington, LA, San Francisco, Seattle, for what you can get a house there, you know, you could pay for that. You could sell that house and move here and pay for your house cash and still have some money left over. So I mean, that's another reason why people flock to Atlanta so much. And then not only that, because I remember when I was in college, back in college, and I had one of my friends that's from LA, and he told me, he said, man, do you realize that in Atlanta you can have a felony and still get a job making $12, $15 an hour and with benefits? He said, in LA, California, if you got a felony, you're not getting no job like that.
There's nothing going on.
Right. So it's a land of so much more opportunity for African Americans here in America, here in Atlanta. I mean, we're the only city in this nation that has had a black mayor for 50 years, continuous. In actuality, Lenox has more crime than Greenbrier Mall now.
Well, we have the perception with it.
Well, we have the perception that,
and people still go, despite all the mess going on at Lenox Mall, people still take their behinds up there to Lenox Mall. And I think the first thing we have to do, we got one of the things that we're planning on doing in Atlanta Southwest is a comprehensive rebranding.
Exactly.
And when we do a comprehensive rebranding, and I understand people are probably signs, we renamed roads in Atlanta, it still look like the hood, when it came up with stuff, but we have to really go deep into the woods with this, where it has to be something that the community buys into. And when we rebrand ourselves, we have to start shifting the culture as well with that as well too. Because we got to look at, okay, we got to start telling our story. That's the first thing. We have a lot of great things happening in Southwest Atlanta, but we are so quick to go on social media, we're so quick to call the mainstream media to say what's going on. Yeah, I know at one time, Headland Drive in Greenbrier Park was the #1 place in Atlanta where your car got stolen. That was about 10, 12 years ago.
Well, I mean, you can even take, Thurl used to be a rough school back in the day, but now it's not. And, you know, and that's Dr. Shelley, you know, for turning Thurl around. The principal of Thurl now, she's turning Thurl around. I mean,
yeah, I agree with you on that. We got to, this stuff has to be told. And that's when we need the independent media, the black media, to really get out here and start doing their jobs to help us out. The second thing is, we can't continue to do the old strategy of begging big box retailers. It's dead, it's tired, it's played out. Big boxes are dying out. Macy's left, but showed like we lost Macy's, we lost Burlington. Burlington left because sitting in a mall is no longer their business model. Burlington want no more stores in the mall. Macy's left because Macy's kind of felt that they could do some other things. And you're seeing more online stuff. They're becoming more of a regional destination now. You don't really see a Macy's in the mall, so we have to reimagine retailing as we know it. When you look